This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
The time right now is 10:07 at WPSL, the talk of the Treasure Coast, and time for JOANNE'S World of Nutrition. Brought to you by Nutrition World. JOANNE's Nutrition World, like as in www.joannesnutritionworld.com.
Look at that.
And it's Joanne Seeger is your host. Okay.
Hey, everybody. I hope everyone's having an amazing day. Oh, my gosh. It's bringing back great memories, this weather. I remember when we took the kids to Georgia for apple picking, and it was like misty but really crisp and cool. Loved it. So here we are, another Thursday. January is going super fast, so I definitely want to make mention. The store has moved, in case anyone missed the show last week. So I moved all the way across the hallway, so not too far. We have 2 suites now inside what used to be known as the arcade building, which now is known as Kraz Square. Or Kraz Corner. Oh my gosh, embarrassed. It's Kraz something. So inside the arcade building, I just keep saying that because I'm so used to that for many, many, many years.
Oh, for a long time people will be saying that.
So I feel like we're all going to learn together and get used to it together. So now I have a wellness side as well as the store side.
The
Go
building
ahead.
Formerly known as the Historic Arcade Center.
Okay, as long as I don't get tongue-tied, that's perfect.
Right, well, like I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
So inside the building now, we have a wellness side, which is 4 treatment rooms and a reception area and a waiting area. And we have the retail side. We separated them out so that way if someone is getting Reiki, biofeedback, infrared sauna, private health coaching, we will not be disturbed by the retail side, which sometimes can get a little noisy over there. So please come in and check it out. And February 8th is our official open house, where 3 to 7 we are going to have practitioners there, tons of giveaways, special discounts, prizes. So you do not want to miss that day. It will definitely be worth your time. So February 8th, 3 to 7, come check out the new digs. Today's topic, when I was doing the research on this topic, I couldn't believe the staggering statistics about it. And I learned a few things as I was researching. I picked this topic because of personal interest to myself, my family, coworkers. I try to pick subjects that I know someone personally being affected by it, because then I know it's of common interest. And unfortunately, it's not just common to me, it's so common in the United States. And the subject is back pain. Back pain. So this is where I thought a couple staggering statistics. 31 million Americans are affected each year from back pain. And Americans spend $86 billion a year on back pain. I think that's insane, like phenomenally insane. So I definitely think, obviously it's affecting not just the people I know, but people all throughout our country. So we are definitely going to dive into that subject today, not just about the cause, but also supplements and different techniques you can use to get some relief from back pain and also other joint pain, of course, at the same time. But for any newbies, we can't start any show on Thursday morning without our breathing exercise. We got to make Cliff work hard for his money. And for 2020, we're changing things up a bit. So for years, we always did the count of 5 in through the nose, hold for 5, and exhale for 5. And if you want to stick to that, please do. But there was another study that they did that they showed a very effective count was just 2 in, which seems easier, but a nice deep 2 through the nose, 4 hold, and 8 exhale. Okay, so remember, we are not using our mouth. That makes blood pressure go up and stress levels go up. Only our nose which it's been clinically proven if we do this 10 times, but for the sake of the show time, we're only going to do it twice. If you do this exercise 10 times, all stress and inflammatory biomarkers will go down significantly. This was basically 3 test groups, very thorough research, so proven to work. All right, so Cliff, you're going to remember that. 2, 4, 8.
2, 4, 8.
All right, 2 in, hold for 4, 8 for exhale. And just do the best you can. Even though the first 2 numbers are easier than we usually do,
We'll go
and
slow
exhale
on the,
for
on the
8
count,
is a little tough.
We'll go
so
about
don't rush
1.5
it.
seconds per count,
All right.
per second.
All
Okay.
right, here
Are you
we
ready
go.
to
So-
release everything now first?
All right, there we go.
Okay, start through the nostrils. 1, 2, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 1, 2. Good and deep. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Now slowly exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you can continue if you like.
Thank you, Cliff. That was awesome. Yeah, please continue 8 more times, and you should feel significantly better. We always talk about breathing on the show, and I repeat it every week because it's something that everyone takes for granted. In the hospital, you hear a lot of times that someone goes in for something to do with an infection or a trauma, and then all of a sudden you get a phone call that their lungs are not working right, and the lungs are a cause of major concern. So breathing, strength, getting your heart and the circulatory system at full strength and keeping your lungs in really good health are critically important, and it's best to do it when you're feeling well, not waiting for anything bad to happen. So again, prevention is the key in every area of the body. All right, so pain. Pain is really tricky, and pain for many years was considered mechanical in the body. We just assumed, like a car gets worn out, its engine parts, that as we get older, the pain is created by the length amount of time you used the certain part of your body. Well, since 2003, that actually has been proven incorrect. So just like when you cut yourself when you were young and the body just magically healed that cut, the body never loses that magic. It never goes away as you get older. Chronological age has nothing to do with it. But there are some things that happen as we get older. One thing I noticed as a parent, I was taking my nephew to a park, and my daughter was there who just turned 10. He's 3, and he's going up this jungle gym thing without any fear, any worry, and he's just climbing to the top, and my daughter's hesitating at each step. And meanwhile, I'm like so scared of heights. I'm on the ground level just looking up. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting cold sweats. What is that? That's basically learned behavior, traumas, other things that create anxiety, depression, stress, fear, all these emotions as we get older. That has been proven to have significant impact on our body's health, including joint pain, back pain, fibromyalgia, many different types of arthritis. So when I used to say this years ago, it kind of got scoffed at because nothing's worse than trying to tell someone you're trying to help that, well, your emotional stressors are one of the major causes of your pain. It's not received very well. Why? Because I know firsthand, if you're responsible for what your body's giving out, your pain and all these things, it's not so easy to change or treat. It's a tricky area. But there is research since 2003 proving this, which I'm going to go into deeper. All right, but the good news is that we here in Florida mostly have warm weather, and a lot of northern folks come here because of our warm weather. Why? Because when it gets cold, it's not just because they don't want to shovel snow out of their driveways, but their bodies severely hurt. During the colder climate, when that barometric pressure goes down, their bodies really start hurting. Their hips, their knees, their hands. They can't even hold their coffee cup in the morning because it's so cold and their joints hurt so badly. And what I found super interesting is there's no research or clinical data to support that that is true, but yet you hear everyone talk about it all the time. Oh, I feel the rain coming, or oh, this cold weather is making it where I can't even walk. But they can't really prove why that is happening. But one thing for sure, when they come to our warmer climate here in Florida, they feel better. But then some research says when it's warmer, we're more active and we go out more and we're getting vitamin D from the sun and we're getting exercise. So is it a coincidence or is it the cold weather? But I can say for sure that with Florida, it's a little easier to do the research because we're normally active, we're in warm weather, but when the cold comes, it triggers immediately that inflammation of the joint, and so it's been trickier.
Some of us have built-in barometers.
Yes, and that's a whole thing. You know, a lot of people have always told me that growing up. Oh, I feel the rain coming or snow's coming, and it makes physical sense to me because, you know, we're within our bodies. There's so much energy, and when the energy is changing outside of us, we're definitely going to feel it. So.
I recall for at least a couple of decades, I can accurately predict the first cold front coming because 3 weeks before that first cold front hits, I have some kind of pain.
Wow, 3 weeks?
3 weeks before the first cold front hits.
That's kind of crazy. I don't know. I would rather it be like more like an hourly thing.
Well, I didn't like to boast of it, but Greg Wyatt figured it out one time.
How did he figure it out?
Well, because I told him, I said my knee. I was having knee trouble when a cold front was approaching. I told him, I said, I'll give it 3 weeks from today. We'll have a cold front. Well, he wrote it down or something. 3 weeks to the day the cold front hit.
Wow.
And he made a big thing about it, and I didn't really think much of it because I thought everybody's like that.
Well, I have heard a lot of people, but I don't know about 3 weeks. That's pretty good. You're kind of better than the weather people.
Well, you got to be in tune with the earth and hug a tree every now and then.
Yes. Hey, that's one of my treatments is grounding. So hey, don't step ahead there, Cliff.
Oh,
all right.
I didn't mean to step ahead.
All right, so back pain. Now, traditionally, back pain, like I mentioned, $86 billion a year. Crazy figures. So people are going in to their doctors and they are hoping for pain relief. And most of the time, the doctors give them a very serious drug, normally say lose weight, and then that's it. End of conversation. If they are able to get a surgery for the area that's mostly in pain, like a hip replacement, knee replacements, shoulder replacements. That's much more available now, but extremely costly. Okay, so if someone doesn't have insurance, I would usually forget that option. And definitely not a guarantee that the pain relief will be 100%. But those are really all that's out there right now. And for people that research these drugs that are given, they are extremely toxic. They have links to kidney troubles, problems, liver problems, increased blood pressure, severe gastrointestinal problems, especially like bleeding. And then also the real big ones are addictive, severely addictive, causing not only financial stress in the home, but also the addictions start to have other trickle effects into the family, just like any other addiction that's extremely dangerous. And these people start trying to seek their pain meds in illegal sources, and then it's a nightmare. So if I can hopefully give you some suggestions for natural pain relief, if you can keep an open mind to them, maybe you'll avoid these type of problems. And do you know the newest drug, Cliff, Humira? You've heard of that, right? That's the number one drug they give for like severe pain, like arthritis
is that the new
pain.
opioid?
So it's not addictive, but here are the side effects of it, okay?
Oh, here we go.
All right. So
This is going to be good. I'm sure.
tuberculosis, serious infections, lymphoma and other cancers, hepatitis B infection, allergic reactions, liver, nervous system, blood problems, heart failure, lupus-like syndrome, and psoriasis.
And somebody's going to ask their doctor to prescribe that?
Yes. So, I mean, and sometimes, depending on the insurance, it costs a patient $20,000 a year.
Wow.
$20,000 a year for that. So you're basically paying, and I know when people are hurting, it's like they don't really care. They just want relief, and I totally get that. But definitely have to keep in mind, where did the back pain come from? Because if it's 10 years building up into this pain, this serious drug is not going to take away the cause. It's just going to treat the symptom with severe side effects.
And the body will be tricky, too, because with the addictions, the body will lie to you and tell you that it's hurting.
Yeah.
And that's quite an unfortunate part of it.
I know, and then it's just a slippery slope.
And then everybody else in the whole family is hurting from it.
Yeah, I know in Fort Pierce alone, I hear on a daily basis now that we're selling CBD of people buying it for the loved one that is on the opiates and real serious drugs, and they just really want to see them get healthy again. And my heart bleeds for them because I honestly can't even imagine being in that situation.
Oh.
So, because with pain comes depression, and those two go hand in hand. So I'm going to give you some tips and these are all proven methods to alleviate pain with a substantial, you need to give yourself at least 90 days. So when you make a commitment to some positive changes in your lifestyle, please, even when it comes to supplements or different lifestyle trends, don't just do it for like 7 days or 10 days and give up and say, oh, it didn't work. Sometimes these changes are battling against years or your whole lifetime of physical trauma, social trauma, emotional distress. So you really have to give your body time and the tools to get it better. All right, so the first thing, okay, and Dr. Ravi would be so proud of me, is don't slouch when we sit. Now, some of these tips, honestly, I wasn't going to say because they sounded so obvious and so trivial.
I can't sit on the couch.
But that's what,
I call it a slouch.
I don't, I watch Netflix all the time. I'm completely addicted. And there's a show, Grace and Frankie, that I love. And it's about two older women and their whole story with their relationships and living together. Well, Grace is at a point where she gets married at 80, right? 80 years old, you know? Now she looks amazing, beautiful, right? Well, she sits on his couch, so she just moved to his house. She can't get up. Uh-oh. She can't get up off this couch, so she has to like literally roll to like the end table to lift herself up. And then she goes to use, his master bath, to start using his restroom. She can't get off the toilet. So she has to call her best friend to help her come in and get her off the toilet. But as funny as that is, that's too much of what's really happening out there, where people can't walk up their stairs in their own houses. They can't get off their toilets. They can't get up from their desk chair. And so that's why I decided that as stupid or silly as some of the suggestions I'm about to say may sound, do these things now before you're the person that can't get off your office chair or can't go up a flight of steps. You really need to take this stuff seriously. So if you're slouching and if you're sedentary and you're sitting for hours and hours, you are basically letting those muscles that support your back get super weak, and your posture is misaligned, and then your spine won't cooperate and communicate with it. So no slouching when you're standing or sitting. I know my yoga teacher used to tell me when I was washing dishes, if I felt my belly touch the edge of the kitchen sink, then I wasn't standing properly at the sink. And so I try to always keep that trick in mind, you know. So if I feel water coming on my shirt, I know that I'm slouching over my sink. So really try that. Try sitting up straight, okay? And the other trick is to tighten up your pelvis area, like really pulling up your pelvis into your belly and, you know, giving your muscles, you know, that little help while you're sitting. A lot of us have jobs that we are forced to sit, but it doesn't mean that we can't use that time effectively in strengthening our pelvis floor and giving our spines proper adjustment, especially with the head. And I find this the most difficult is to push your head back and keep it in line with your ears over your shoulders. It's really hard for me, but one of my teachers, I think it was the Pilates teacher or the person that does thermography, when they took a picture of me, you know, my head was so much more forward than my shoulders. And now it's actually called text neck, because all our younger generation is leaning over. So this bowling ball of a head is just like totally unsupported. So again, little tricks. So sitting up straight, pulling your pelvis in, and putting your head back. Really, really important. Okay, so the next one is lumbar support. I always joke around with my husband because he has this huge lumbar support that he uses at work and in his car. And he's right. It's critical because the natural curve of the spine, you want to support that. So spend a little extra money on your office chair where you sit the most, even if it's where you sit to watch your favorite programs, to support that lumbar, support that lower back. Really critical. And those things are really inexpensive. So you have a favorite chair you're refusing to give up, just buy the lumbar to go with it. Or, you know, do a support rolled towel behind your back. Okay, so for my female listeners, I'm sure if you go to a chiropractor or anyone in the healing world, they tell you watch out for those high heels. I definitely learned the hard way. Do not get to the point where all you can wear is orthopedics. You want to, you know, I know that they look gorgeous and make us all look all slim and beautiful, but high heels, not supporting the arch, not supporting the back, just lead to problems when we get older. So just, you know, if you want to wear them in the workplace, fine, but going to and leaving, maybe you can do what I call the city way and have some sneakers or comfy supportive shoes in your bag. So again, silly thing, but really important. You walk around on the downtown streets or wherever you're going in high heels all day and all night, and your back will pay for it. Okay, this is my favorite thing that I do, so I'm so glad it's a way to reduce back pain, and that is sleep on your side. I love sleeping on my side. I do the support pillow between my knees to help keep the curvature of the spine. I do know a lot of people, especially that have acid reflux, they sleep elevated on their back out of necessity. I understand that. But for the support of the spine, they do say firm surface and on your side. So I would definitely give that a try. And then another one is vitamin D. I can't stress enough how important sunshine is. A lot of people are so focused on the supplement, which of course I own a supplement store, so I do support that. But we're here in Florida. We're not in a northern climate where it's or like Seattle. I have a friend just visited Seattle for 2 weeks, didn't get one bit of sunlight in 2 weeks. That is so depressing. But here in Florida, we don't have that issue. Even on the worst of days, the sun will peek through. So get at least 20 minutes of vitamin D, especially early morning sun. And even if you're not able to walk or exercise in the sun, just have some bare skin. get that raise and turn it into vitamin D inside your body. And not only will it help reduce osteoporosis risks, but it'll elevate your immune system, detoxify your body, and stop pain. So vitamin D, crucial. And supplements are so inexpensive. If you get vitamin D3 by itself without vitamin K, it's very, very inexpensive. And yes, it is better with vitamin K, but then it gets a little bit more expensive. So definitely get some vitamin D. And then the next tip before we go on a very quick break, okay, is hydration. I can't stress enough that water, not beverages, not iced tea, not coffee, but good old water, even if it's water from vegetables and fruit, is extremely necessary. We are about 72% water. We need it to hydrate our joints, to make synovial fluid, lubricate every single organ in our body. So to be pain-free, you must be ultra hydrated to reduce that stiffness and get water into that disc area. So super critical. Now, when we come back from the break, we're going to go over more ways to get back pain gone in your life. So stay tuned.
Now back to Joanne's World of Nutrition with Joanne Seeger.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for spending some time with me this morning. I really appreciate it. I know how crazy everyone's lives are. I was just kind of thinking to myself when I mentioned at the beginning of the subject how most of the time doctors, besides giving pain pills and a possibility of surgery, will also tell everyone, to lose weight. But I know tons of people that have severe pain or arthritis or back pain that are of normal weight. So it's not just people that carry extra weight get the back pain. That is a myth. That is not true. You can have back pain and be nice and thin. And I also find that really unfortunate because when the doctors stereotype like that and say, well, if you just lost weight, your pain would go away. When you tell someone that's already overweight, in pain, and probably depressed because those two things go together, then you're basically just setting them up for failure because it's not like, okay, great, I'm just going to go out and exercise and, you'll eat right all of a sudden. Because when you're in pain, your body is just like not wanting to do anything. And the first reaction is usually comfort food and a sedentary behavior. It's like, let's get a grilled cheese sandwich and let's sit in front of the TV because my back hurts so bad I don't want to move. So I have a little bit of a solution for that I know well, and that is infrared sauna. Now, the infrared sauna I've had at the store for about 4 years. It was a 10-year dream to afford it, to have it for my customers. I only charge $25 a session, which is you have the infrared sauna and now a private room with your own bathroom with the new wellness side. And that's really affordable compared to what most places charge for infrared sauna sessions. Even to buy a little infrared sauna belt could be hundreds of dollars on Amazon, where your whole entire sauna room, which you can fit 2 people, and I don't charge extra for the second, to get all this infrared. So in just a couple minutes, I am going to go into specifics of the sauna, but I was just thinking to myself, so if you're one of those people that are like, oh, but she's going to tell me to exercise and she's going to tell me to lose weight. I know how hard that is when you're in pain or you're already struggling to get weight off even when you weren't in pain. But the infrared sauna is definitely an awesome solution because you just sit in there. Oh, well, heck, I was going to plan for later. I'm just going to go in that segment now. All right, so you just sit in there. You can burn up to 600 calories per session. I mean, to me, that is absolutely awesome. 600 calories. It's completely natural pain relief. The infrared sauna works differently than regular saunas. Traditional sauna just heats up the air. Your body gets warmed. And we already explained when the body is warmer, the joints don't feel as inflamed or as much pain. But this is different technology. Infrared is part of the light spectrum, and near infrared can go into your body up to 4 inches. I mean, I think that's incredible. So it works by penetrating the joints, the muscles, and tissues, and increases circulation and helps oxygen flow. And that's the trick to healing any issue inside the body. You want to bring that oxygen in, and you want to increase the circulation, because the body knows what to do if it has the proper tools. And those are 2 of the most important tools. You want to get circulation, so that way that blood gets really clean. You want to increase the oxygen, because those bad guys can't survive with the oxygen there. And then you are reducing your soreness, you're repairing nerve endings, and you're helping reduce muscle spasms. And that I know for sure. I was putting in the new floor for the new side with my husband, and that's getting up and down off the knees. And it's really painful to the body, really painful. And I definitely had some muscle spasms going on. Going in the sauna was relief instantly, and definitely something I would recommend, whether you're a first-time pain feeler or chronic pain feeler. It is amazing, and there are studies to back up all that. So I printed out there's 3 phenomenal studies that they use, this and the exact brand that I carry. So the Sunlighten. So if you look up Sunlighten, Lighten, sauna, it's the only sauna in America that has 70% more near infrared light. The near is the critical part of the different infrared lighting systems. There's near, mid, and far. Mid and far do help with the actual heating and the core temperature of the body, but the near gets into a cellular level where the mitochondria, the DNA is, and does all the amazing miracle-like work. So there was a study done in 2013 in Auburn University, and they were talking about groups that trained without using a sauna, a Sunlighten sauna, and the groups that trained with it. And there was 3 times the amount of mobility and less friction in the joints with the group that did the Sunlighten sauna. And if you're not exercising or you're not an athlete, that might not seem like a big deal, but put it in perspective in your own life. Like I mentioned, getting up out of bed, walking up a flight of stairs, carrying a load of laundry. Just put it into that perspective. We all need our muscles to be able to be flexible and to get warmth in there and hydration in there. And if they're stiff or they're spasming, we won't even be able to open a doorknob. So that's why this study really impressed me. And then this one, definitely my favorite. So this study was done in the Internal Medicine Journal, and chronic pain patients experienced 70%, 70, after just the first session of infrared sauna therapy. That, to me, is better than some of those pills offer with no side effects. So 70%, and some said that the pain remained low throughout the observation period, which is 90 days. Okay, that's one session. Now, I do the infrared sauna almost every day because I do not want to wait for my body to break and things to get painful for me, because I hate that feeling. So I'm trying to be very preventative. But, I mean, that's incredible, 70% less. So, and then you're helping other body parts. I don't want to get into all the other studies, but there's an amazing study about dementia and near infrared lights as far as cutting edge ability for the brain synapses to improve. So something else to look for. And then there was another study done by NASA. And the NASA showed, now the NASA only studied the near infrared, and that one where they actually proved that it does have the deep penetration of tissue, which increase cell growth from the inside. Now that's really important because those bad cells, the cells that are lazy, the cells that are kind of defenseless, they become cancer. They become things that we don't want in our body that aren't welcome, tumors, cysts, all that stuff that cause us pain and issues. And so if this can go 4 inches deep and penetrate into a level where cells grow in mitochondria and DNA, that's major. That's huge. And so these are just 3 studies. And they're doing more and more, but studies take time and money. But I just want you to know these have been around for almost 20 years in a commercial use. But NASA astronauts have been using them much longer. Infrared is something that we used for incubation of babies many years ago if they were preemies. So this is not new science. It's just new on a consumer basis where you can go to places and step inside an infrared sauna. And the Sunlighten brand, I chose that one because it has low EMFs. You want to make sure that you use or purchase an infrared sauna that is safe and tested, that all the materials that are used are not treated with chemicals. It's natural, non-toxic. It's not off-gassing. So that's why I chose the Sunlighten sauna. So the other thing, too, is with the pain management that you get from infrared saunas, it goes beyond just the things like, for instance, peripheral arterial disease. That one is a tricky one. A lot of people don't know when they start experiencing pain what they have. It's almost like digestive disorders. There are so many more names that are we're diagnosing people with. Before, I always joke in New York, we always called it agita when anything was wrong with the digestive system. But now digestive disorders have like 20 different names. It's the same thing with pain. Now they're having specific names if it's lower spine pain, if it's a neuropathy of the hands or the feet, or a general neuropathy. There's so many different names for pain. But the one thing they're tying it to is emotional pain. And clinical studies are showing that the infrared sauna also addresses that. How cool is that? So if stress is the killer that we all know it is, and now it's clinically proven that stress is a secret killer in the human body, then the infrared sauna will also help with that emotional pain and give you a feeling of well-being, which I have to plug CBD in that manner because I believe that's why it works so well too, because it works with receptor sites, the cannabinoids go and give you a sense of well-being, just like the infrared sauna does. So it's like a win-win and no side effects. So if you want something that will go and penetrate 4 inches into your body's tissues, stimulate mitochondria to release nitric oxide. And that's the key. Nitric oxide is basically the thing that helps that artery from being stiff and not circulating blood to being relaxed and letting blood flow go. Even if you have cholesterol, anything that's a little stuck on your arterial wall, releasing that nitric oxide just helps that circulation and helps get nutrients where they're needed to repair the tissue. So that's why the infrared sauna helps DNA repair and cellular regeneration. So super awesome. I'm going to have it on for the open house so everyone can try like a couple minutes in there. But a true session is only like 30 minutes. And here's the kicker. My husband set it up that Netflix is on the screen inside the sauna. So if you want to come in and use it to watch one of your favorite shows, one episode would be about a session. I mean, how cool is that, right? You can get all the benefits, right, as while you're watching Netflix. because that's our reality. Or you can turn Netflix off and do breathing exercises and listening to some really good music. Wouldn't that be awesome? All right, so what else? So we're thinking, fish oil. Okay, we still have a good 10 minutes. All right, so fish oil. Fish oil, unfortunately, like some of our food supply, is not created equal. If any of my listeners out there still consume fish, I want you to give thought to where your fish is coming from. I am pretty sure if you're a local here in Fort Pierce or the Treasure Coast, we are very close to the ocean, so I'm hoping that you have a source that, maybe gets fresh fish that you feel is high quality fish, because most places now are selling farm raised fish. And those are fish that are produced in a tank in a controlled environment. And partly it's our fault. The trash in the oceans are causing problems, but the fish in the tank are frankenfish. Unfortunately, these people that are doing the tank fish, I don't believe they began with any ill intention, but to control the water, to keep it clean, to keep the fish alive. They're not fed the algae and the seaweeds and all the things that are naturally occurring in Mother Nature's ocean. It's impossible. So some of them will feed the ocean water into the tanks, but still not the same. But they're doing the best they can. The algae that they normally eat give them their high amount of omega-3s. And that is what they say is missing in the farm-raised fish. Well, unfortunately, some of these fish oil companies are using the farm-raised fish as a source. So if you do decide to choose fish oil, which even the Arthritis Foundation recommends up to 2.6 grams of fish oil supplement a day, I think it's a great suggestion, if not more, to lubricate the joints, have an antioxidant, help bring down inflammation in the body, because fish oil definitely brings down inflammation. Please get a quality fish oil. If you see these big, huge bottles, $9.99, for 180 capsules, run. Do not buy it. You want to look for smaller bottles that say they get from small cold water fish like sardines, mackerel, anchovies. A lot of Canadian companies make really high quality fish oil supplements. Some of the brands that I carry, I have 3 very popular fish oil: Renew Life, Dr. Mercola, New Chapter. Those are really good companies that source out the best versions of fish oil with no junk inside them. So if you do decide to use a supplement, buy a good one, or don't bother at all and just eat wild wild cold water fish at least a couple times a week. And then I mentioned vitamin D. If you need to get a supplement, I'm asked all the time, well, how strong should I get it? Some doctors recommend up to 30,000 IUs. That's really strong. I usually keep it more conservative, about 2,000 a day, including what you might have in your multi. So look at your multi, see what's in there, and then choose a little bit more to go with it. But if you are sedentary, if you're indoors, you're not getting fresh air, you're not getting sunlight, then you definitely want to up your vitamin D supplementation. Another thing is grounding. So grounding is sometimes laughed at like the hippie way to healing, but it's no joke. Grounding, we are surrounded in this world with EMFs from our cell phones, our computers, our TVs. Everything is Wi-Fi now. And we are finding severe issues with anxiety, depression, pain, insomnia, than we've ever seen before. And there's no coincidence. We are not getting the fresh air that we used to get. So grounding now has, so I should say now there's a term. It's called grounding. Okay, all that means is you go out. Some people will walk in bare feet on the grass. Now I am so nervous about red ants, so I don't do that.
Oh, the beach.
But yeah, the beach.
With
You
your
can
feet on
go.
the water.
So yeah, so you can do the sand and the ocean. You can do grass. Or you can just go out. If you don't want to like really get all hippie on you, just go out and hug a tree.
Well, see,
Or touch a tree.
That's the most misunderstood part of the what they call tree huggers. If you're barefooted and you put your feet on the root branches of a tree and put your hands on the tree itself, you're connected to the ground through the tree.
Exactly.
You don't want to be there in a thunderstorm because that's what's really grounded. But when you're really grounded, you have energies in you that can neutralize from it.
Yeah, and it has amazing healing abilities. So just do something. I remember when one of my very first shows on the radio, I told people in the middle of the workday to get out of their buildings, or even if they work from home, step outdoors and walk around the building, a couple times, just do a couple circles around their indoor workspace. And I still today have listeners that tell me they still follow that rule because it helped them so much focus better for their second half of the day. They felt better. Headaches went away. Congestion in their nasal passages went away, because indoor air pollution is real, but the Wi-Fi, the negative energy is even more real now. So get outside, get grounded. It really doesn't matter what you do. Start anywhere, but definitely get some fresh air and, touch Mother Nature in any way possible. It will definitely help you. The next thing is called raindrop technique. Have you ever heard of that, Cliff?
Raindrop technique?
Yes, raindrop.
Is that grounding?
It's not a grounding exercise. It's an aromatherapy technique.
Oh.
And I have to admit, so one of my employees who I've known, and she's a good friend for 15 years, started doing this technique. And when I put it on my sign for the wellness rooms, I put teardrop something. I literally had it all wrong. I didn't know what it was, and she finally said to me, Joanne, let me do a treatment on you just so you can really get an idea of what that is. So she gave it to Jen and I. Well, Jen goes first. She comes out of the room literally mystified. She's like, Joanne, that was so amazing. And I still was a little skeptical. I'm like, oh, geez, it's just a few, essential oils put on my spine. What's the big deal? So I went in there. Well, holy moly. It was life-changing. I'm not even joking. It's an hour technique. You use 6 different essential oils, all meant for the spine. I was even talking to Dr. Ravi about it, and basically in your spine, you can store anesthesia, medications. A lot happens in the spine, a lot of memory in there. And so it's meant to help the spine release that. The skepticism is, can that really do that? But aromatherapy, again, has been around longer than our medicines have been around. So chromatherapy, the study of colors, the study of aromas, again, longer than our medicine. So I definitely can attest to, and so can Jen, that the effects lasted for days. I felt amazing once that kind of really mystifying feeling in my head went away, because I was just I felt like I was floating. And it's incredible because you keep your pants on and you lay in a massage table, and she primarily just works with the spine and then with the feet and a little bit of touch of the hands at the very end. But it's great for during your work day when you feel like you're a bundle of nerves, your neck is tight, your shoulders, your back. But it works in a deeper level than that. It definitely, and she is double certified. This woman practices everything she preaches. She's wonderful. So if anyone's interested in that, she'll be doing demos at the open house too, taking clients right away. So it is called Raindrop Technique. And Julie, who works at my store on Wednesdays, will be doing that. And I can't wait to get my next session done. So that's another way to help back pain that I had to mention. And then, of course, Curamin. Curamin, I've done many shows on. If you want the exact details of Curamin, you can go to YouTube and listen to any of my past shows on it. But it's basically the curcumin from the turmeric, very high dose, and it's boswellia, it's nattokinase. Nattokinase breaks up the fibrin in the bloodstream to help get circulation to the areas. Remember, that's the key. Circulation to those areas, get the tools the body needs to hydrate and move and get warm and stop the tightening. I am out of time. I hope this was helpful today. Please call the store anytime and talk to us. I appreciate you spending some time with me this morning, and I'll catch you guys next week.
You've been listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Joanne's Nutrition World, across from City Hall in historic downtown Fort Pierce. Right across US 1 from City Hall between Orange Avenue and Avenue A, with parking in the rear. Have fun at Joanne's, especially in that sauna.
Oh, yeah, every day.
Hey, Dr. Stuart Shipe's Holistic Health Hour straight ahead. This is WPSL, Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast. Where the time right now is 11 o'clock. Stay tuned now for Dr. Stuart Shipe's Holistic Health Hour, coming up next after CBS News.